Welcome, everyone. We are live on this lovely Wednesday morning. It is beautiful. The sky is blue. Today's reminder is to give thanks for what you have, not what you can get. Let me explain the difference. You see, we all come to the law because we want to get things, which is absolutely perfectly fine. But once you know the law, remember, you don't have to get things anymore. You move into the state where the thing is. But what do you actually give thanks for? Is it the thing? Well, the thing has a lifespan, it ebbs and it flows. So then, what do you give thanks for? You give thanks for the knowledge that you can apply because that will never change. The knowledge and what you can apply is what we actually give thanks for. Because think about it. When you know that you can get anything, when the only person to deny you is you, when you know that you don't have to prolong any kind of suffering, when you know those things, well, then that's where the joy is. The joy doesn't come from having the thing. The joy doesn't come from health because we ebb and we flow. Some days we're sick, some days we're 100%. So, on the days that you are not 100%, you can apply the law to get you back to 100% because we move through states of health, states of wealth. You understand? So, if we can remember that it's not the thing we give thanks for, we give thanks for having the knowledge that we can apply at any given time. Why? Look at the world. So many people in the world want things. Again, which is perfectly normal because we live in the world of Caesar. And that food is not going to pay for itself. Mortgage and rent are not going to pay for themselves. We have to pay for them. So, if you find yourself in a position where you say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I don't have dot, dot, dot. As long as you know that you can apply the law, you're free from any situation. So that is what you anchor yourself to. That is what you give thanks for. Because you have got the keys to any potential door. Hmm? You have got the keys to any potential door. So you see, you're always free at every turn when you remember, hey, I can use the law for any situation. Because if you think about the other way, most people just go through life knowing the law but not being aware of it. They think it is just coincidence or luck or miracles. No, those are just fancy words for people who don't know the law. Because when you see a miracle, you know that if something happened, there was a cause. Cause and effect. There's nothing random in the world. So you see, if you know that you can move from state to state and change your experiences, that's why you're joyous. Even on days when you feel sad, even on days when you might be a little bit blue. If you remember that you are anchored to the law, do you think you will remain in sorrow and sadness? No, you wouldn't. You would comprehend that, it is a state. I found myself in this state. Let me move if I deem it undesirable. So you see what we do? Give thanks for what you have. What is it that you have? The keys to any potential door or window. That's what you have. You have freedom from any potential situation because you have the law and the knowledge of how to apply it. So you see, the thing will wither and die. Look at winter. Winter, the ground is hard and frozen and bitter cold. Nothing is growing out there. But you have the law to remind you that, hey, winter is coming. Let me be like the ant. The ant works hard in the spring and the summer and fall. Why? Because the ant knows rhythm, ebb and flow. You are always in a state of preparation. You're always in a state of, I've got this. You're always in a state of peace of mind, regardless of your circumstance. We're always going to pass into states of being, moods, mental attitudes. We're always going to pass through them. But because of the law, we know that we are not trapped or bound by any mood we can happen upon. We're not. We see those things and we say, I see you for what you are. That's why I tell people, you don't have to be happy all day. You don't have to be positive all day. But what you have to know and apply all day is the law. Listen, the phone could ring. You could get a letter. But if you know how to buffer what just happened to you, do you think you'll prolong your suffering? No. But if you don't know that you can buffer, some people are thrown into years of depression because they don't know that they can set themselves free. Well, and then whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So what do you think that means now? You have the law. That's your freedom. So because that is your freedom, you are free indeed. Well, that has a double meaning. Indeed, in action. You're free to move through states knowingly instead of being bound by something you don't want to be bound by, or feeling a particular way that you don't want to feel. Again, let me say it to you. We have emotions. We have feelings. And some days we fall into the state of somebody's going to catch these hands. Other days we're like, you know what? Kumbaya. But at no point are we trapped in any state. And it is because we know the law and can apply it that we have the power to change our lives. We know that if we look out into the world and this person, I don't even know who they are, me and Reddit, right? This person was asking, they said, well, if the law works, tell me how to use it to lower inflation. And I was like, dude, the process is the same. How would you know that the inflation rate was lowered? You'd see an announcement. You'd hear an announcement. You'd be on Reddit and everybody'd be talking about it. And how would that make you feel? Well, then, that's how you do it. But you see, people are always looking for the evidence of the law before they will commit to it. Huh? People are always looking for the evidence of the law so that they can decide if they're going to commit to it or not. Well, that might not work, so how can I put my trust in that? Look around you. The law is always on. It does not take a break because it cannot. It is always in a state of ebb and flow. It's always in a state of causation, causality. You see? So here's the privilege that we get. We don't have to wait for a sign because we know that would be waiting in vain. Signs only follow. They don't precede. They don't come before. They come after something has happened. Cause and effect. They happen afterwards so that you can see the evidence of what you did. So you see how futile it is to ask for a sign? And here's the other part. The law does not require you and I to believe in its existence, you know. That's totally your choice. But don't get it twisted. Whether you believe in the existence or the law of the law or you doubt it, doesn't stop it from working. It just means you're creating more hardship than is necessary for your own life. Because if you apply the same law as reaping and sowing, if you apply that to your mental faculties, well, then you've just personified the law and made it easier for yourself to understand. So, give thanks for the knowledge that you can apply. That's what we give thanks for. Because it does not wax and wane or ebb and flow. The law is constant. And when I say it doesn't ebb and flow, because remember, I just told you it's always in a state of ebb and flow. Why? Because it's always in a state of movement, not ebb and flow in the fact that it starts today and it stops tomorrow. That's not what it means. So the law is always on. So when it ebbs and flows, it is on and it is working all the time. High tide, low tide, right? Days, you get the sun, you get the moon. All these things are the rhythm. That is law. It can't take a break. So that's what I mean when I say it's always in a state of ebb and flow. It's always in a state of movement, of rhythm over and over again, but not that it stops and starts for ebb and flow in the way that we would think. Right? So this morning, be reminded that the law is always on and you have the capacity to use it. Neville says we are the operant power. The law doesn't operate itself. How so? The law operates everything around us, right? You get the high tide and the low tide. You get springtime. You get seed time and harvest. You get summer, winter, fall. That's law. That's the law of rhythm. But when it comes to your individual life, you have two choices. Unwittingly, meaning you don't know how to use the law, deliberately, and the other is to use the law deliberately. How? To unwittingly use the law, we say things like, oh my God, we have generational curses. Oh my God, my mother had this, so I'll get it too. You know, I can't seem to change my life. I keep dating the same kind of person. That is unwittingly living by way of law. But to deliberately live by law, you can look and say, wait a minute. This state of mind, this mood, this habit has been in my family for quite some time. But you know what? It really is only a habit. I can change it because I don't want it in my life. And what is a habit? A thing or a thought or a word or an action that I do the same way every time. You see, so I don't like that. I'm going to choose a new one to develop now so that I can pass that on to my family because it is more beneficial to us at this time. That's how you quote unquote break a generational curse, because it's not a curse. It's only a habit. And depending on the habit, it could be a curse or a blessing. It just depends on what the habit is. Is it helpful to the family or does it hinder the family? Thus, you get curse or blessing, you understand? So if you say, well, I date the same kind of person, how do you deliberately stop doing that? By recognizing what your mental state is, your mental mood is that causes you to choose that type of person. So you see, being deliberate means you are in the observation of yourself. You're watching yourself, but not just watching because you can judge. You are watching to simply recognize, am I in a desirable mental mood? or not. So deliberately, you can change from one mood to another. Well, can't you? Hear a particular song and you're thrown into a mood. How quick was that? The song is only 2 minutes, and all you heard was the first 15 seconds, and oh my God, I hate this song. Mood. So if a song can throw you into a mood, what do you think a simple question, what would it feel like if I were better? Well, asking that question puts you into a different mood. So you see how easy it is to move from one mood to another. You don't have to remain in an undesirable mood. You don't have to be cranky. You don't. You really don't. Well, if that's not what you want, what would you prefer? If you get up and you say, oh my God, I'm so tired of arguing with people, I can't. Ah. If that's what you say, well, what kind of mood are you in? An argumentative mood. What is the evidence of your mood? Oh, it makes you feel agitated. Everything pisses you off. Is that the mood you want to be in? No. So what mood do you want? You say, what would it be like if I went through this day and everybody was friendly and kind? I wonder what that would be like. Well, let me get into a mood of kindness, shall I? And you don't question your kindness, because if you think about it, what do we do as people? The moment I say be kind, one of you thought, kind? Have you seen the state of the world? Ain't nobody want to be kind. Oh, you see what happened? You talked yourself out of your own kindness because you're looking at the external world. Hello, the external world is the mirror that you gaze upon to see your own reflection. So if you are the one who is kind, you have to encounter kindness in the world. If you are the one who is persnickety and ornery, well then, that is what you will encounter in the world because it is your mirror. So you see, it pays to be deliberate. Because if you get up every morning and you go to a job and you say, well, get diggity, never, I don't like this job anymore. Listen, you get on the bus and you cranky because you don't want to go. You're driving and you're flipping off people and you are in a hurry because, the sooner I get there, it'll be over. You see, if you can recognize that state and say, wait a minute, the job is inanimate. When I go to work, I breathe life into that job. So why am I letting the job take life out of me? The job is inanimate. I give it life. Then you'd begin to see it's not the job. It's your attitude towards the job. So if you say, yeah, but my boss, if your attitude were different, the boss would be different. Oh, Angela, you don't know my boss. You don't know the people I work with. I am telling you. Because of that simple argument you are having within your own mind about the job, you walk into work and your face is what? Like you got lemons in your cheeks. That's what it is. So how do you think people will respond to a bitter face? I wonder what's wrong with her today. Who pissed in her cornflakes? You know how we get around the water cooler. Oh my God, let's stay away from her. She's so cranky today. I'm not telling you you are at fault because there is no blame. There is no blame. You have to stop that part. Stop that judgment. If you can recognize that you are the cause, do you not see how powerful you are now to change? Because it is only the way you think about the thing. And the way you think about the thing is how it will have to be. After all, you reap what you've sown, do you not? That's never going to change. So learn how to plant new attitudes. How does one plant a new attitude? Step one, recognize the undesirable attitude first. Well, how are you going to know where you want to go to if you don't know where you are? So take a moment and recognize it. Oh my God, I recognize the bad attitude or the undesirable attitude, the undesirable mood or state of mind. Recognize it. And then you ask yourself, what would it be like if I felt better? What would I feel like if I felt better? The moment you ask that question, if you would just, don't even think to judge it. Just simply say, what would it feel like in my body if I felt better? If I was in a better mood? And let the feeling encompass you, because it naturally will. So once you do that part, you start to see or hear or feel or smell or touch in your mind's eye what that better mood would be like. And the moment you see it in your mind's eye, you feel it in your body, you're like, whoa, this is the one. This is how I want to be. And you begin to entertain that in your mind's eye. You see yourself walking down the street or pulling out of the driveway and somebody, your neighbor waves hello to you, right? If I say, hey, mommy, you know exactly what show I'm talking about. Transformers with Bernie Mac, but I digress. And she flips him the bird. That's not the kind of neighbor you want, but I digress. But if you see them and they wave to you, they say good morning, you see that in your mind's eye, that makes you feel better, doesn't it? Ah, you see, you're naturally doing it. The same way we can entertain the worst case scenario. What's the difference between entertaining the worst case scenario and the best case scenario? The experience you get on the outside. So choose wisely. So if you entertain the best case scenario, you will encounter those types of experiences. So that is step 1, 2, and 3. You decide based upon where step 1 is, how you want to move, because it is only a state. It's only a state. It's only a pair of shoes that you stepped into. You say, oh, too tight. I don't like that one. Let me change. Oh, this jacket is a little snug in the shoulders. I don't like that attitude. Let me change it. Let me put on something that feels a little better. That is how you change. Simple. You see, the reason I stress to you not to judge it. Here's an example of what I mean by that. When you have forgotten where something is, or you have forgotten the name of a song, you can kind of sort of hear it on the edges or the fringes of your mind. You can, but you can't quite get it out. And you say, what's the name of that song? You see, nowadays we reach for Siri and we hum it and Siri tells us what the song is. Hey, you know where Siri got that idea from? Do you know where the programmers got that idea from? You. Do you know why? Every time you've forgotten the name of a song before Alexa and Siri were here, what did you say? What's the name of that song? And what happened? The song was on your lips and you said it, didn't you? Oh, yes. So if you have the capacity to ask yourself, what's the name of that song? And the song comes out of your mouth and you say, oh, snap, there it is. What's the difference between, I wonder what it would feel like if I felt better? And you just waited and you waited and then you felt better because you were just waiting for the name of the song to show up. You went about and you did something else. You washed your hands, you washed your face, or you put something in the fridge, you took something out of the fridge, or you lay down for a moment, then bam, there's the name of the song. You notice how you didn't judge that, but you just trusted that it would happen? The same principle applies. Why? Because all you're doing is asking yourself, hey, what would I feel like if I felt better? And you just allowed your body, your innermost being to answer the question for you without judgment. Because when you think about it, If you ask that question, what would it be like if I felt better? And then you said, oh, please, that's a bunch of hooey. That's hogwash. Well, then you remain in the state that you are because you have not allowed yourself to answer the question. So I am telling you, the same way you can ask yourself, oh, shoot, where did I put my keys? And then the image of the keys flashes in your mind and you see them and you walk to them as if you always knew where they were. You didn't say, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I always lose my keys. You didn't say that. You just allowed the answer to emerge. Well, if you want to be in a better mood, what would I feel like if I were in a better mood? That's the question. And then the answer comes and you feel better. It really is as simple as that. But we judge too much. Just ask the question. Ask and you shall receive. But you see what we do? Now you can go and hum the song to Siri, the parts you remember, and the song will show up. You have that capacity already. Why don't you use your own capacity? You see, somebody was, quote unquote, trying to make it easier for you when they developed that, not knowing, rather, or not caring that you are the original. You are the original. So you can't find your keys. You're going to ask Siri where your keys are? Or are you going to close your eyes and say, where did I put my keys? Show me. And you wait for that amount of time. You'll find those keys. You'll find them. I found mine in the snow. So I know what I'm talking about. Like, seriously, I didn't know where they were. And I tore this house to shreds trying to find them keys. Until I smartened up and I threw myself on the bed and I lay there and I shut my eyes and I said, show me where my keys are. Within a half an hour, I saw this picture in my mind of my boot. I saw my boot, my winter boot. And I was dragging my winter boot across a particular ledge. And I saw the sparkle of my keys. So I got up and I put my coat on and I put my boots on and I went outside and I put my foot on the same ledge that I saw in my mind's eye and I dragged my boot across it and there was the sparkle of my keys. There's a fancy word for that. Remote viewing. And all you're doing is showing an image to your mind of what you've lost. And your mind will find it for you. But you see, we think we're somehow not capable of doing such things. Oh, yes, you are. So that's why I tell you today, give thanks for what you have. And what is it that you have? The knowledge of the law and how to apply it. Because when you have the knowledge and how to apply it, where can you not free yourself from? Or where can you not prevent yourself from being held captive? You are designed to be free. Free indeed, of course. So learn the law. What law, you say? Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. Oh, Angela, that's not true. Oh, it isn't? Where do you think ideas come from? In the depths of somebody's mind. Even Oppenheimer, even his mind too. Yeah, we all know what he came up with. Well, the state that you are in will determine what you produce. Huh. What state was he in? We gotta win this war. We can't let them kill us. We gotta kill them first. So go big or go home. And the only way to guarantee they die before you do is to make something bigger than them. So that's what was conjured from his mind because of the state that he was in, a state of war. If you are in a state of peace, My God, you'll develop things to filter water, to purify the air. You will do many things from a state of peace. So remember, the state or mental mood or mental attitude that you are in will dictate how you behave. That is the law right there. The law of correspondence, as within, so without, as above, so below. You have to reap what you have sown. And that is never going to change. I dare you. You go out to that garden and plant some tulip bulbs, and when you get roses, you let me know. It's the same thing for the garden of your mind. You have to reap what you have sown. Because everything is moving, everything vibrates. Nothing can stand still. It's either moving real fast and you can't see it, or it's moving real slow and you can see it. And how does it move? It swings between two poles. See, this is why we want to think that there's duality in the world. There is no duality. There's a left and a right, not opposites. They're in poised opposition because in order to have something swing, you've got to push it between two poles. But there's only one thing moving. And it's moving always after its own kind, meaning love and hate are the same. The way it makes you feel will tell you which one you're dealing with, but they are the same. That's why every time you fill out a survey, you can go from a strong dislike or a strongly disagree all the way to where strongly agree. It's only a matter of movement, of vibration that tells you which one you're dealing with. Do you like it more or dislike it more? You're only dealing with one thing, not two. And the way something moves in that movement there of polarity, you see, whether you are anti or pro, both of you have the same desire. Not two, it is the same desire that the pro has as well as the anti. You're the same in your nature. And that creates a rhythm. What? A way you behave. So if I know I can come here and be inflammatory in my speech, the type of person who becomes offended by what I say, I now know how far I can push them. What? I have polarized them. I can see their habit based upon how they respond. Polarity, rhythm. And from rhythm, you will be caused to act, cause and effect. But here's the beauty of cause and effect. You can reverse the two. If you don't know the cause, but you know the effect you would like, you can build the cause. But if you know the cause, you can bring about the effect. Example, you can have a feeling. You can feel so good about a thing. You don't even know what the thing is. You just feel good. Something will show up for you to feel good about. You can use a feeling to generate a thing, and you can use a thing to generate a feeling. Cause and effect. You can reverse the two. Use one to bring about the other. Because remember, the pendulum swings. And to the degree that it swings, that's how you can bring about what you're looking for. And finally, we have the law of gender, not to be confused with man, woman, boy, girl. Gender is to generate an idea, to think about something. But you don't just think about it. The way it makes you feel, you've now projected it outward. Think about it. The 3D printer spits out the thing you put inside. So you put an idea, you generated an idea and put it into the computer. Masculine. You put it into. Now, when the computer spits it out, oh, it went into, so that's the feminine. And she spits it out to say, here's what you ordered. Always we reap what we've sown. You plant, masculine. You reap, feminine. They're energies, right? It's mental. So you mentally impregnate the mind with an idea. And then you watch how you'll behave, and you'll give birth to the idea in physical form. But because we are living in 3D, right? We see the evidence of what that would look like on the physical realm. Now you have the male and the female. See? This is the beauty of the law. And if we would learn how to use them and apply them, we would change our lives. And that is what you give thanks for on a daily basis. I know the law. Yeah, I can apply the law. Yeah, that's how you do it. Day in and day out. And even though it might look natural to you when you say, but Angela, look at the atrocities happening to people. If you can see on the outside an atrocity, as within, so without, then the atrocity is within the mind of the person perpetrating it. It does not just come out of thin air. Think about it. Look at the writer. The story that he writes comes from within his mind. So when you read the book, it will invoke all sorts of feelings within you based upon how he felt when he was writing it. He can only convey to you what is within. So when you see atrocities in the world, remember, they emerge from the mind. So if you don't think atrocious thoughts, you will not perform atrocious acts. So don't sit here and ask, well, where is God? But then mankind is the hands and the feet and the mouths of God. You are God. Oh, what do you think gives you the power to breathe? God itself. But we've heard that word too many times. And that's why it kind of, leaves the mouth kind of dry. When you say it, like, oh, God. You're like, nah, that's just the word that we learned. But we did not have to learn of the existence from someone. All we had to do was observe, and we would see that something powers everything. So this morning, let us take a brief moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. Who's here this morning on YouTube and Facebook? Roxanne, I see you. Hey, Wisdom Almighty 69. Asanya, Don Elnon, AM Amani, and Padmore Global. You guys have made yourselves known in the chat. Thank you for being here. For the ones who've not made yourselves known, I see you. Who is, oh Lord, Twitter. Hello, Twitter. Wow. There's a lot of people in Twitter this morning. Persistence. Busy Bee, hello. Let's go. Lady Sai, is that how I say it? Welcome. Nerding. It's symmetric. Beloved love troll. Driving tea. And Chad. Hello, dearest. It is always beautiful to see you all here. It is. Who's here on Fanbase this morning? Who's here on Fanbase? Flo Smiles, Oracle Treehouse, Shea Butter, Fawn, Ali, Miss Boricua, Honey, Miss McQueen, Afternoon Delight, Commander, Terms and Conditions, Happy is in the house. Welcome to each and every one of you this beautiful morning. I am loving seeing all of you here. You see, oh, it is so good to see you all. Listen, let me just run this point home before I play the bowl. And as you hear the bowl this morning, what state of mind are you in? If you languish in a particular state of mind, you will languish in your life. I'm going to say that to you again. If you languish, we would call it depression. We'd call it sadness. Listen, we have so many names. And all those names are expressions of the state of mind that you are in. And the state of mind that you are in must always determine your actions. You must reap what you have sown. So if you languish too long in the dark thoughts, well, you already know how that will turn out. So don't languish there for too long. And I know we want to because we feel a keen sense of loss. Of course, I get it. But we remain. What do you want your life to be like? Well, then adopt that mental attitude and your life will become it. I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you, I can only reap what I've sown, nothing else. So this morning when you hear the bowl and possible bird song, the present state of mind that you occupy, do you like it? Yes? Carry on. No. Just as easy as you can say, what is that song? And have it appear in your memory so you can sing it. Simply ask yourself, what would I feel like if I felt better? And begin to allow yourself to feel better. But Angela, that's too easy. You don't know what I'm dealing with. I'm telling you, there's no difference between asking for the name of a song and asking for a mood. If you don't allow yourself to respond, how will you know that you've changed? So, wherever you are in your thoughts this morning, you have the capacity to change it. What would I feel like if I felt better? And if you don't have anything that you want to do, then a simple thank you for incoming bird song. Yes, handsome, I hear you. So, if you don't have anything, well then give thanks. What are you giving thanks for? What you have. And what do you have? The knowledge of the law and the ability to apply it. Let's get the bowl, shall we? Because bird song is on point. So now I got to get on point. Shoot, always showing me up, this bird. Yes, handsome, I hear you. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Twitter, thank you all for being here today. No, Chad. We do not eat our friends. Thank you all for being here, Twitter. And if you want to join us again tonight, the lecture tonight, we just read it for bedtime. I read a Neville Goddard lecture for bedtime at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do believe we're reading North of the Strip tonight, one of his most popular lectures. So I will see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love to you, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Much love. Twitter is closed. Roxanne. Wisdom Almighty, Asanya, Don Imanon, A.M. Ramani, and Padmore Global. Thank you all for being here on this lovely day as well. Much love to you all.